Hey Dragon Slayers, today's video is about how fasting doesn't put you in starvation mode, part 2. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. Let's get started. Suppose you normally eat 2,000 calories a day and cut back to only 1,500. Your body cannot run a deficit indefinitely. It will eventually run out of fat to burn, so it plans ahead and decreases your energy expenditure. The end result is a decreased metabolic rate. This has been proven repeatedly by experiments over the last century, and we'll talk about it in more detail later. Because of this well-known starvation mode effect of daily caloric restriction, many people assume that fasting will result in a similar but more severe decrease in metabolic rate. Luckily, this doesn't happen. If short-term fasting dropped our metabolism, humans as a species would not likely have survived. Consider the situation of repeated feast and famine cycles. During long winters in the Paleolithic era, there were many days where no food was available. After the first episode, you would be severely weakened as your metabolism falls. After several repeated episodes, you would be so weak that you'd be unable to hunt or gather food, making you even weaker. This is a vicious cycle that the human species would not have survived. Our bodies do not shut down in response to short-term fasting. In fact, metabolism revs up, not down, during fasting. This makes sense from a survival standpoint. If we do not eat, our bodies use our stored energy as fuel so that we can find more food. Humans have not developed to require 3 meals a day, every day. When food intake goes to zero, like in fasting, our body obviously cannot take the basal metabolic rate down to zero. We have to burn some calories just to stay alive. Instead, hormones allow the body to switch energy sources from the food to the body fat. After all, that is precisely why we carry body fat, to be used for food when no food is available. It's not there for looks. By feeding on our own fat, we significantly increase the availability of food, and this is matched by an increase in energy expenditure. Studies demonstrate this phenomenon clearly. In one, fasting every other day for 24 days resulted in no measurable decrease in basal metabolic rate. There was no starvation mode. Fat oxidation, fat burning, increased 58%, and from 64 grams a day up to 101 grams a day. Carbohydrate oxidation decreased 53% from 175 grams a day to 81 grams a day. This means that the body has started to switch over from burning sugar to burning fat, with no overall drop in energy. In another study, 4 days of continuous fasting increased the basal metabolic rate by 12%. Levels of the neurotransmitter norepinephrine, also known as noradrenaline, which prepares the body for action, increased by 117%, keeping energy levels high. Fatty acids in the bloodstream increased over 370% as the body switched over from burning food to burning stored fats. During fasting, basal metabolism and exercise capacity are maintained. The fasting is unhealthy reflex is largely an outcome of the marketing push to encourage consumers to buy more food. An enormous amount of advertising money is spent every year in an effort to convince consumers that at any moment they are not consuming food, they are at risk for underperforming. The Snickers campaign launched in 2015, offering a perfect example. Candy bars labeled with the words sleepy, grouchy, impatient, etc., hinted that these undesirable conditions were best overcome by consuming food, essentially claiming psychoactive effects for the candy bar. We'll explore how the body stores energy and accesses it in more detail later. But for now, just know that we're designed to function well during periods of fasting. Our bodies don't start to shut down or go into starvation mode. So that's what I've got for you guys today. Don't forget to like and subscribe because it really helps the channel out. And remember, guys, that together, you and I will slay the dreaded diabetes dragon.